Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of Real Talk and Shan and Bilal. We're doing this on Fridays. We're gonna say that, we're gonna keep it on Fridays. You already know that we're lying to your face when we say, oh yeah, guys, proper upload schedule every Friday, right? No, we ain't PewDiePie. We ain't uploading on a proper schedule. Rip PewDiePie T-Series coming up anyway.
We're basically Jack's films. We upload once every 3 months.
It's like whenever we want,
But you know what? We're gonna try to upload as much as possible.
We're gonna try. I'm not saying we will, but we're gonna try. Alright. Going to the issues of the day. Sean and I have agreed to just not talk about the shooting. We've already talked about the Second Amendment in depth a lot. We just want to send out our thoughts and prayers to everyone that was in the shooting recently. That's basically all we have to say on that, Sean.
Yeah, we also want the entire situation to kind of become more mature, and because it just happened very, very recently, we don't want to cover it right now at all. In depth, because the families of this tragedy are still coping with their losses. There's been 11 victims.
We still don't know what's happening. We still don't know why everything's happening. So we're just gonna, we've covered it. We're just gonna move on. The first topic and the biggest topic, Sean, I think. Remind me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because I might not be sure about that. I think we had elections a couple days ago. I think a couple elections, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we had the 2018 midterms, guys.
Right. Like the little, just a small.
Oh yeah,
issue,
not
at all consequential.
The blue wave, right? It was the blue wave. Sean, yeah, about the blue wave. It did not happen.
Yeah, neither did the red. You know why it didn't happen? Because the blue wave talk started very early on, especially after the state of the
it started way too early on.
Address. Way too early on. And then people on the other side of the aisle were like, "Oh, I ran out of articles."
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway.
We were pulling up the New York Times, and we couldn't pull it up.
Yeah, I basically used up all my articles on midterm coverage a few days ago. But anyway, so then people on the other side of the aisle were saying, "Oh no, we're going to block the blue wave with the red wall," and thus that collided, and you had the Senate leading up to a net gain for the Republicans, and the House leading up to a projected and predicted net gain for the Democrats by 26 seats. We called it pretty much. I mean,
yeah, we did call it.
Last week,
oh my god.
We said the Senate at least would stay 50-50. I mean, they gained 2 seats. Oh, actually,
I think what you gave we both agreed that the House was going Democrat.
Yeah.
I gave them, in terms of my prediction, which I remember, I gave the Democrats too much of a. I think I said something from 25 to 40.
Yeah.
I was less than. I know that I was way over for the House prediction, but we both predicted that the House would go blue.
Yeah.
And then we both agreed that the Senate would stay in Republican control. But once again, I was overestimating what the Democrats were going to do. I think I put it at 50-50. When right now it looks like it's probably going to end up 52-53.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the races in Florida and Arizona between Sinema and McSally, and in Florida, Rick Scott and Bill Nelson, they're still too close to call, so the updates on those races aren't available yet. As of now, it's 51-47. Technically...
Wait, let me pull this up.
51-45 too, because Angus King and Bernie Sanders are technically independent.
They caucus with the Democrats.
They caucus with the Democrats. So it's basically 51-47.
So yeah, assuming... Okay, so what's happened is we don't know what's going to happen in Mississippi, which I think is actually really interesting. I thought what was going to happen in Mississippi would be the same thing that happens in Minnesota. But Mississippi is actually really unexpectedly close. In terms of the switch, Montana stayed with Joe Tester. I don't know what his first name is, sorry.
Yeah.
Nevada, both seats have gone to Democrats now. It looks like Arizona, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Arizona. It's so fucking close.
I mean, see...
Indiana went red.
Sinema did gain a lot of votes from Maricopa County, of which the infamous Sheriff Joe Arpaio is the sheriff of that county. That's very, very heavily Democrat. They counted a lot of votes. There's about 350,000 left to count, apparently, from what I'm hearing. So, it's extremely back and forth. Martha McSally was leading pretty much the entire way through since counting began on midterm night, and up until yesterday she was leading, and then Kirsten Sinema took a 0.1% lead.
Did you hear about what McCain's wife said? What McCain's widow said?
No.
Oh my god, I feel no wait. I owe her more respect than that. I can't just say McCain's wife. I have to. Come on, Cindy McCain.
Okay. Yeah, Cindy McCain.
No.
Currently, that was her. That was his former.
Carol McCain. No, Cindy McCain. What the fuck am I saying, dude? I'm so deaf. Cindy McCain, she said she was that they can't stop counting in Arizona because she was one of the mail-in ballots, which I think is super powerful. It's like, if Arizona switches to the Democratic side, I feel like that's just a symbolic thing. Like, not only is the McCain wing of the Republican Party, the moderate Republicans, dying, but they're losing their seats to the Democrats. And I feel like, overall, you can really see the switch that we've seen in the past couple of years. Barack Obama won Indiana and won Indiana and Ohio both times. Indiana has now elected a Republican for the Senate.
Yeah.
Go for it.
With that, you brought up Barack Obama and him winning seats. I believe in the greater political scheme of things, Barack Obama was the outlier candidate. He was a charismatic African-American president who was super young. He basically energized his base.
Yeah.
Better than anyone ever could on either side of the aisle, even better than Trump. Trump basically rode the kind of gains that the Republicans were already making since 2010 in the House, the Senate, and then they gained the White House in 2016. I don't think it was anything spectacular what he did.
Obama ran as the Democratic Trump. Yeah. He just didn't have the actual anger to back it up.
Exactly.
He was so good with policy. Once again,
he was the one person that was actually able to flip all those seats to the Democrats. Every single midterm election under the Obama presidency, for the most part, the Senate and the House, Democrats were making heavy losses. And in fact, I think in 2010, from what I recall, they lost like 40-something seats in the House.
63.
63 seats in the House.
They got fucking bodied.
That's that's like the worst in the last almost 70 years. And the second worst was Clinton, who lost 52, I think, in 1994 or 96.
No, shit. I'm going to look at midterms.
So
House midterms by swing. No, House by swing.
Yeah. Basically, my point is the states Obama won during the presidency are states that only he could have won with the kind of candidate that he was. And he was one of the best candidates for a president, probably in U.S. history. I mean, like, with his charisma and his ability to...
Holy shit! In the 1894 election, Republicans gained 110 seats!
Oh my god.
That's kind of ridiculous, dude. What was this 1894, that's after 1892, and 1892 had the election. What's his cunt's face?
McKinley?
No, it wasn't McKinley. It was
the one before him.
Was it Cleveland? Cleveland, yeah.
Okay.
For a second term. Damn, that's kind of clout. But once again, midterms are just overall really wonky.
Yeah.
If we're doing it historically, I think...
And in addition to that, I also want to bring up something else.
Has it.
So I think on the Democratic side, a lot of people have been saying that this is a win for progressives. I really don't see that because a lot more moderate Democrats were selected. Now, I heard Van Jones on CNN say something like there was a rainbow wave. There were trans candidates. There were more women than in the history.
That should not be the focus.
Yeah, that's the thing. So he said rainbow wave. It's obviously something. I mean, I really don't believe in just qualifying these candidates based on their intersectional hierarchy.
Dude.
But at the same time, I don't think that the point that he was making was completely correct. Because what he was trying to insinuate was that the Democrats that won were these progressive intersectional people who were supportive of the Bernie Sanders style base. Like that just wasn't the case. There were people who are members of the intersectional hierarchy, but they're more moderate Democrats, more closely aligned with Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi as opposed to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders.
Okay, but and once again, I feel like this is going to be a weird thing to say, right? But could you connect the winning of those moderates, right, to the fact that the progressives were the one that captured the national attention?
Oh, yeah.
When people were listening about House candidates, they were thinking about people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. When they were thinking about Senate candidates, they were thinking about people like Beto O'Rourke. So I feel like the progressive national imagery is what propelled everyone forward. In the same way that in 2010, the Tea Party had all of these people, right? They pushed forward just Tea Party members, right? Because that's what was going to be their new base. Yeah. Democrats know that what's going to bring people home are like these more moderates, because America just naturally is more conservative in the long term, right? So in the short term, to get that long-term return, they're like, okay, put progressives at the front, but make sure that more moderates are being elected.
Exactly.
Which, oddly enough, puts Nancy Pelosi's speakership at stake, because around 40 Democrats have said that they do not necessarily want to vote for Nancy Pelosi. Should Nancy Pelosi be the next Speaker of the House?
Well, the thing is, I mean, before I put forth the last time that she was the majority Speaker of the House was, I think, 2008, and then they lost the House in 2010, and they got it back after 8 years. So it'll be a long time since that she's usurped that role. I think in terms of policy, she's someone that can really rally the moderates, and she's someone who's been in the game for long enough to understand what it is like to get the votes that they need on the Democratic side. On the same token, it's going to be she is a very easy target for Trump. She's a very easy target for Trump because she's a moderate. She is the definition of an establishmentarian from a House point of view, from a legislative point of view. And he even tweeted, I think, a few days ago that, oh, in all fairness, Nancy Pelosi deserved to win. You know, she is very qualified. I look forward to working with her and all that kind of stuff, whatever BS. That's really the point where you realize that he has an interest vested in Nancy Pelosi being the House Majority Speaker, because of the fact that she will be such an easy target for him for the next 2 years, especially if they investigate him, because now they have the House, so they have subpoena power, I believe.
Yeah, they have subpoena power.
So if they do any of that stuff, really, the legislative aspirations of the Trump base is going to be impeded, and Trump can use that to his favor. It's like, look at these Democrats; they really aren't getting anything done. They aren't getting what we want done. They aren't even compromising. You know what? You need to vote in 2020. You need to get us back in control of the House, keep the Senate, and we are going to get the wall built and, you know, immigration reform done, all that kind of stuff.
Once again, the margin is just so close. From 52 to 92, so for 40 years, the House was in control of the Democrats, right? Complete control of the Democrats.
Yeah.
And then 92 happens, or the 94 election happens, and Clinton gets bodied.
And you can also attribute that to the Gingrich Revolution. Gingrich was really the one that kind of energized...
Not even can. It is the Gingrich Revolution.
I mean, he energized the Republican base to such an extent that they were the ones that were really out voting in droves by then. And I mean, paradoxically enough, the early 90s was really, it was dubbed the time or the year of the woman. Now, in retaliation to that, the Republican electorate decided that we have to put our backs behind the Republicans in order for there to be a checks and balances on President Clinton, even though President Clinton has been one of the more compromising presidents in our history over the past 100 years, possibly ever. I mean, he did sign DOMA.
No, I agree with you. No, I completely agree with your point. I'm just thinking about the repercussions of the Clinton administration. He swung the Democrats so far from being progressive to the moderates because, once again, Reagan just fucked up politics in so many ways. Actually, well, Nixon fucked up politics. You can go all the way back, but really Nixon fucked it up because it was, for some reason...
Nixon and Johnson, you can say.
Did Johnson?
Well, see,
Johnson realigned everything, and then Nixon set everything. Johnson in 1960 to 64 tossed up everything in the air. You have a bunch of these landslides, like the 64 election was a landslide, 68 election was a landslide, 72 election was a landslide. All of these, he just tossed it up. It's like, you grab what you want. And then Carter basically had to go, okay, wait, how do we do this? How do we run a Democratic campaign without being a racist asshole? And then Reagan was like, I'm not going to be a racist asshole, but I'm not going to mind the racist assholes. And then Bush came and he's like, I'm not going to deal with race at all. Clinton came in, I'm not going to deal with race at all. Bush comes in, I'm not going to deal with race at all. So you have this continuation of race is not a big issue. Not progressives, but, you know, so how about, I don't know, social progressives, okay? Social liberals, okay? The ones that focus on the social issues, they fucking tanked everything. Because at the end of the day, once again, I mean, I'm no ranting for a bit, I feel like the Democrats' core, where the Democrats stand out and where they will always beat Republicans, right, is economic issues. If you keep the debate on economic issues, people just like to hear, you know, we're against banks. We do not want you to be fucking pissed off. We do not want them. But then, what Republicans are able to do, and what always brings them home, is that they tap into even more guttural things. Religion, emotion, populism, stuff like that. And that's what they were able to do. Newt Gingrich was a populist. Paul Ryan led the... He was... Think about this. And once again, I'm kind of jumping off on different points, but just think about this. The Republicans made a beast, which was the Tea Party, that they were unable to control to the extent that they lost a speaker. John Boehner did not step down by choice. He stepped down because he was like, I can't control this raucous caucus. He was fucked. This is what's happening with the Democrats now. That's why there's this unease with if Nancy Pelosi can be the speaker. Because I think if she becomes the speaker, the exact same thing's going to happen. Imagine like if like,
with social progressives.
Yeah, and then we're going to see the 2020.
And I think it might be because the Tea Party was a pretty big movement, but in terms of like their political presence, not as much as what it could be on the left side of the aisle, on the progressive side of the aisle. Now.
I don't know, but I feel like the Tea Party is now synonymous with Republicans. Yeah, especially with Trump. There's nothing.
It is.
You are.
In terms of the small government position that they're pushing, it's been usurped by basically the House Freedom Caucus and a lot of other Republican legislative caucuses in Congress. So that's why it's synonymous. They have inculcated themselves into legislative politics so well and so effectively, and so cohesively. Something that the Democrats really haven't been able to do with their progressive counterparts.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly. I feel like this is a brighter blue. Wait, tell me if I'm wrong. We're looking at 270 to 1. Is this a bright? That's brighter, right?
It really is. Yeah.
I thought I was tripping balls. I was like, no, wait. I really thought I was like having an aneurysm. I was like, it's over. It's over. I was looking at one of my friend's schedules. This is like a side point. You guys know we're people, so we're gonna like talk about people things. But I was looking at one of my friend's schedule, and I kept looking at her different classes. And at Rutgers, what they do is they have different when you sign up for your classes, they have different colors for different campuses. So her colors were like all over the place. But I kept going, so I thought they were different classes. So I kept reading her schedule, and then all of them were general physics. I really thought I was having a stroke, and that general physics was just stuck in my mind. But no, apparently she has general physics at like 3 different places.
Right.
But anyway.
Me with computer apps for business.
I feel like we're just going to be able to cover the midterms. We've already talked for like 16 minutes about this. Yeah. So, do you just want to keep talking about the midterms? Because I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Okay, so fucking Georgia. I've been talking a lot. You want to cover Georgia? You want to cover fucking Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams?
So basically, the race was basically a gubernatorial race between Democrat Stacey Abrams, who has been known to be a more progressive but at the same time compromising figure within the Georgia Democratic Party. And on the other hand, you had Brian Kemp, who was the Secretary of State for the incumbent administration, who is the Republican running against Stacey Abrams, who recently actually resigned. But the controversy is, why did he resign?
After the election.
Yeah, why did he resign before the election? Because he was essentially overseeing the election in which he was participating in. Now, that is something that is very, very pertinent.
Just overall dick move.
It's something that's really shady.
It's not a class act.
And Brian Kemp, it's really surprising the way the elections have gone. So far, I mean, the voting's still going on. Stacey Abrams still hasn't conceded. Brian Kemp has declared himself the winner, essentially, but there's really no consensus on that. So basically, they're still counting votes. But as of now, Brian Kemp is barely ahead by 50.3%, and Stacey Abrams is trailing by about 49.1 or 49.2, with a significant portion of the vote going to third-party candidates.
I just want to cover something really quick. It looks like one district in Georgia changed, and there's one that's still being recounted for the Democrats, but it had a lean Democrat overall. West Virginia went from having a seat open to being completely red. I'm looking at what states went from either completely to different. Iowa is actually leading blue now. 3 out of its 4 seats are Democrats. What's that? New Mexico? That's Arizona.
That's Arizona.
That's New Mexico, right? All of New Mexico is now blue. Is there anything else?
Regarding Georgia, what I was basically saying is...
Oh, yeah, sorry, I completely...
No problem. But I was saying, Stacey Abrams is just a more marketable candidate. I mean, if you see Stacey Abrams, the coverage that she received, not only from, like, liberal or, like, left-leaning news outlets, such as the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, WashPo, all those... publications, even from Fox News, for better or for worse, and even on the Wall Street Journal, which is right of center, they were giving her significant coverage, not only because of the controversies
she got hyped the fuck up.
She really got hyped up, and she was known as someone who compromised while she worked in the state legislature, so that's where she got a lot of that political power.
Isn't it hilarious, though, that when you say compromise, for some reason, a lot of people take that now to be like
the worst thing.
Not even the worst thing. Like you say the Tea Party and compromising are by definition basically opposites. They're diametrically opposed because the entire point of the Tea Party was to not negotiate with Obama. Yeah. And now what the fuck do you have?
I mean, like basically the mantra is that was really started by the super PACs of the country was that bipartisan deals are like not good for the country because both sides come out of the agreement super unhappy because they wish that they could have gotten more.
That's the fucking point of negotiating, though.
Right.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, that wasn't at you, but that was just
exactly. Like that's basically what people thought at the time, and that's how the Democrats and the social progressives and all those political progressives have retaliated to the Tea Party's kind of substantial presence in politics around the time Obama's first term just started.
It's ridiculous, dude. This midterm was basically undoing everything that came from the 2010 midterms. This is, okay, you had the growth of progressives, you had the Tea Party clash it out in the center, and so this is basically just return to form. Like, this is kind of similar to what... Actually, you know what? Let's look at the 2000...
I also don't think...
2006.
I also don't think that it should be understated how impressive it is that Republicans actually kept the Senate, considering they have the White House under control, they had the House, they have the Supreme Court in terms of conservative
Holy
justice.
shit.
So the fact that they kept the Senate after a significant trend of the incumbent party in terms of the White House losing seats in the Senate has been going on since Clinton, really. The fact that Trump has been able to keep Senate seats and even make gains in the Senate has been really impressive.
How the fuck are Democrats... If you look at the goddamn... Actually, no, we're doing pretty well. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the 2008 House of Representatives. 2008 predictions. No, I would like the actual elections. 233. Okay, so Democrats in 2006. Did they take it over in 2006 or was it 2004?
The Democrats?
Yeah, they took it over in 2006, right?
6 or 4?
6. It's 2006. It looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so then they had 233 seats. We have 200. So yeah, we're basically back to form. We went from 233 seats when we took it over in 2006, before the populist wing, and now we have 227 around. Oh wait, the final result was a. Oh my god, the final result was a 31-seat pickup for the Democrats, including the pickup of the Vermont at-large seat previously held by independent Bernie Sanders. Oh shit. I don't know, dude. First Muslim in Congress there, became the first woman and first California Speaker of the House. I don't know. I'm kind of... Okay, Beto got screwed over. I'm kind of done talking about the midterms. I don't know what else to...
No, we have Florida and Texas left, but I mean, we kind of talked about Florida. So basically, the Florida senatorial race is also really close between Bill Nelson and Rick Scott.
What I was going to say is, I hate how Republicans, especially this... They've shown how fucking dick-like they are. Because what happened is, our candidate is in the lead, fucking stop the votes, call it, right? Sued the parties, sued the candidates, sued the county people. But then, as soon as their person is behind, it's like, yo, why are you not counting these ballots? Hurry up, right? Like you saw that with McSally, right? When she was in the lead, she was like, stop the votes, stop the votes, stop the votes. And now that Sinema is in the lead, they're like, we want everything to be counted to its fullest extent.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. I think the controversy is that they keep recounting votes in super liberal districts such as Maricopa County in Arizona and Broward County in Florida. I think that recount and the recount that was going on in those counties that would basically give Sinema and Nelson respectively the lead in their races was what really caused someone like Rick Scott to retaliate and sue the Democratic Party. Now, do I know all the facts? No. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether or not there's any statistical bias. But as of now, it's not looking good for the Republicans because of the fact that they were crying foul after when they were ahead. They basically called the election for themselves.
Yeah,
that was a bad move.
When Gillum conceded, right?
Which is also a really bad move.
But the Democrats, just don't concede.
Just objectively, I'm a conservative.
Did we learn nothing from 2000? Don't concede in Florida. Never concede in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's the decision.
He's only 0.3% behind now.
It's super close, and you need a 0.5%. So as long as by Saturday it's under 0.5%,
you can still do a recount, right?
No, it's automatic recount.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I swear to God, in Florida, the question on the ballot would be like, do we want to get kicked in the face or do we want brownies? And then the result would be 55.5% in favor of brownies, 49.5% in favor of getting kicked in the face. And people would just we need a recount, guys. It's for fuck's sake, Florida, can you just tell us if you're red or blue? Hurry up now.
Basically, it has to come to a conclusion at this point. I mean, it's being drawn out to such an extent that it's just going to be detrimental for later. And it sets a bad precedent as well. Oh, well, I'm losing recount. I'm winning. Stop.
It's not the fact that it's the recounts happening. It's that before the recount has even started, it's politicized to an insane degree.
I mean, that was always going to happen, especially after the 2014 midterms, because that's where really the politicization of these recounts and the kind of energizing of the bases regarding every single vote in every single swing state really started.
Wow. Okay. I feel like we...
And then there's Texas. Texas. Beto O'Rourke loses to Ted Cruz by a little less than 3 percentage points. Now, this was something that I said in the last thing. I knew Ted Cruz was going to win because, look, he just has more political clout in Texas. He just does.
He's been there for longer.
He's been there for longer. He's one of the more influential Republicans within the Republican Party.
But now, God damn it, I was looking forward to Beto.
The thing about Beto is, I mean, he honestly doesn't have as many skeletons in his closet as other people from either party does, and he's very energetic. The thing is, you could pour as much money as you want, and the Democrats poured more money into that race than I think all the other races in the country combined.
Wait, did you see the? Have you ever seen that hilarious ass quote about if you murdered Ted Cruz on the Senate floor, and the trial was held in the Senate, no one would convict you. I love that.
Speaking of death, did you hear in Nevada? I think a Republican brothel owner who died a month ago, but who was running for the last couple months. He won, even though he is dead.
You're shitting me.
He won. I think it was a state legislature or a House position. One of those two.
Oh my.
So now nobody knows what's going to happen. He died. And he was one of the more prominent Trump supporters. You know, he's a brothel owner. He's this big, freaking husky-looking dude.
Yeah.
He's got girls all around him. He's basically emblematic of Trump, just Nevada version. And he wins. But he died a month ago. So
and
what the hell do we do?
Isn't even alive. By the way, Sean, I'm sorry. I think I just touched you with my wet socks.
No problem, no problem.
Oh, dude, some elections are just fucking crazy. Like, that kind of You know what? Let's just move on to Jeff Sessions.
Yeah. Okay, I think that was a really good discussion
oh my God.
on the aftermath. So we're basically waiting on a couple of senatorial, gubernatorial,
Senate
and House seats.
And Arizona, Kirsten Sinema better. And then Mississippi. What the hell are you doing, Mississippi? Okay, so then the day after the midterm, we thought we was over, right? We were like, okay, no need for campaigning, right?
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours after that shit happens, fucking Jeff Sessions is out of the cabinet. Now, did he resign or was he fired? That question, right? He's out of the cabinet. That's kind of obviously certain. But just the fact that we don't know whether he was really fired or whether he was resigned, where the line is between that affects the appointment of Whitaker.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure he was fired because in his resignation statement, the very first thing he said, "Upon your request, I have chosen to resign." He was pressured into doing so.
So then those two lines or those two clauses are in conflict. Let's take the second one, right? Which is the active one, right?
Yeah.
I have resigned. So that because it's not an issuance by the executive, by Donald Trump, by President Trump. That would say, if you take the active clause, that makes it so that he is resigning.
Yeah.
So then that allows Trump to appoint Whitaker.
Right.
But the legal language of upon your request, I feel like if this was argued before a court, right?
That's got to be ruled as firing, right?
I would say it would be ruled as firing because the comparison that you would say, right, is if your manager came up to you, right, and said I'd prefer if you not work here anymore.
Right.
And then at that point, you know that the environment is hostile enough that you should not stay there.
Yeah.
So that would effectively be taken as a firing.
Exactly. I mean, in the same sense, the Surgeon General under President Obama in 2016, even he said something like that. Like, he said it was technically a resignation because he said he resigned, but he said it was upon the request of the executive branch and President-elect Donald Trump. It's the same exact thing. I don't see that as a resignation. I see that as a forced resignation, which is in fact a firing.
And then if you want to go earlier into the administration, right at the beginning, Jeff Sessions ironically enough, it was Jeff Sessions. Yeah. Jeff Sessions asked for the resignation of all of the people in the attorney generals, right? The 46 state attorney generals. And then Barrara said no, and then he was fired. If you refuse it, it's going to happen either way. So I feel like that would be the precedent. So then you have Whitaker, who he's cunning enough in that I think he's decided his action with the Mueller investigation, which is why everyone is focusing on this to begin with, would be you don't cut off the head of the Mueller investigation. You starve the body of food so that it eventually just dies out. The investigation, just due to lack of resources, lack of funding, just kind of dies out. That is fucking scarily genius, and that is why MoveOn.org activated their emergency response, which I really thought was never going to happen unless Mueller was just straight up fired. But they did it, and there were tons of protests. Times Square was filled up, and then no news agency reported it.
Yeah.
Why did no news agency report it?
I didn't even know about it until you told me, and I went on Reddit, and it was the top post. Yeah. Other than that, I didn't hear anything about it. Of course, I heard about the firing. I heard about Matt Whitaker being the interim replacement. You know, the next Attorney General might be Chris Christie. like he's being floated as one of the people that might be.
At the same time, I feel like he has the credentials for it. I don't like him, but I get the credentials.
He has the credentials, but he has a lot of skeletons in his closet. I mean, even conservatives, Republicans, are pissed off at this. Especially after the 2016 election, since he, in a way, backstabbed Donald Trump.
It's pissed off in the way that we're already taking a kick in the nuts by losing the House, right? You really need to fuck us over more by firing it. So it's not mad as in, oh, we're mad at you, Trump. It's mad as in, why are you making us deal with this shit?
Just a word on Jeff Sessions. I think Jeff Sessions received a lot of criticism.
Attorney General.
For his... Well, no, okay.
I'm sorry, he's a shit Attorney General.
I really don't think he was that bad, at least compared to Eric Holder. At least compared to Eric Holder.
Fucking Eric Holder. Okay, Eric Holder's only mess up was he's... Actually, no, it was a pretty decent sized mess up. He sold guns to...
Okay, Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. There we go, yeah.
No, not even that. Obama had to issue executive privilege in his name, so he would basically shield his attorney.
That was the first time that he issued executive privilege, right?
Yeah.
Fucking A. Alright, keep going.
Like that didn't ever happen with Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions actually tried to implement the law as much as possible. Now, I don't exactly agree with his interpretation of the law, especially in relation to drug convictions and marijuana convictions. Other than that, I mean, the no executive privilege. Like, I do feel like Eric Holder, especially when he issued that tweet saying, "Oh, we can't let one person completely usurp all the power and just do whatever he feels like and garbage." That's a really hypocritical statement coming from the guy who got freaking...
Wait, no, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
No. From the guy who received executive privilege from the head of the executive branch after Fast and Furious.
I was like...
It's just so stupid.
Fucking A, dude. What the hell are you doing? Like, oh my god, I can't. I feel like Jeff Sessions should have just chilled. Just chilled, right? And I keep getting stressed out about this.
And Jeff Sessions tried to overcompensate for the fact that he was actually trying to do his job, but Donald Trump was he was so politically motivated. Like, here was Donald Trump's id. Obama used Eric Holder as a political tool, and he weaponized politically the Attorney General's office. So why can't I do it with Jeff Sessions, one of my earliest supporters? And he never got to do it because Jeff Sessions recused himself. He actually tried to implement the law to its fullest extent, and it never really materialized. And that's one of the... And even in some of his earliest interviews, President Trump, especially to the New York Times, that's the one that's coming to my mind. He said, well, if he was going to recuse himself, then he could have just told me and I would have hired someone else. It's so freaking BS. And it took him a year and a half to make him resign.
If you look at it, right? The Mueller investigation is gonna come, and it's gonna be something you need to deal with, right? So you were talking about... I'm sorry, I really got really red-eyed, and to calm myself down, I started looking at the acceptance rates of the law schools. I don't even know why, but that just calmed me down for some reason.
Okay.
Anyway, okay? The thing is with Rod Rosenstein, right?
Yeah.
But he's fine. Just keep him there, right? The way the Justice Department made it inherently so that you're good.
Yeah.
Don't do anything with it, you're fine, right? If you want to kill the Mueller investigation, wait for the report to come out. Oh shit, if the report comes out, you're fucked. If you fire him, you're not only fucked socially, but now you have AGs that can come to you. They can fucking destroy your entire cabinet, anyone implicated, and you can't pardon them. Why? This is not even the dumbest move. I just thought it was such an obvious affront to the Democrats. Look, you are doing it because you're mad, and you're making the cabinet positions should not be super political. And like I don't usually get this intense. I feel like out of the two of us, I'm the more animated. I'm the more animated, right? But I really this made me really sad. I'm like genuinely sad, and this is the reason. Obviously, Secretary of the Treasury, political. Secretary of State, political. Defense, everything is political. But the Attorney General, I feel like it's symbolic, right? He's not called a secretary. He's the Attorney General. He's the head of the Justice Department. By the love of God and for the love of democracy, and if you have any respect for fucking Lady Liberty, do not make that as political as you can. And he made it as political as he could. And that pisses me off. Do not do this as an easy way just to flip the finger to the Democrats, right? Show some respect for the institutions. That's what pisses me off. I feel like if Mueller's investigation actually does die out, Trump's gonna have to face the ramifications for this either way. Mueller, he either goes to the AGs, the state AGs, right? Which, by the way, there are now more of. So now more Democrats. Imagine 24 lawsuits coming after him. Assuming not 24, assuming Gillum wins. But at least 23 lawsuits, right? And then on top of that, imagine if all of these states come after you have to file every single one of those in a different Supreme Court case. So you're gonna get screwed by the Mueller investigation either way. But show some respect, man. Show some respect.
Same goes to Eric Holder, in my opinion. Some of the shit that he pulled as AG, and that's why I don't think it started with Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions was definitely a lot more temperate in his response, and Donald Trump was a really political player. So Donald Trump's inherent characteristics of wanting to politicize everything, wanting to take the upper hand over the Democrats, whether by hook or by crook, was what really caused this to happen. And it really pissed, because I really like Jeff Sessions as like a potential. I liked the potential he had to be a good AG.
I thought he was just a fine guy.
He was all right.
I don't like his policies. I don't like his racist past. Or not racist past. I don't like his past because it's controversial.
Yeah.
But he was fine as AG. He was a Trump AG. What are you going to expect, right?
Exactly. He was a lot better in terms of like other people in Trump's cabinet. He was a lot better in terms of not politicizing his office.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then, because he didn't want to get involved with everything, right? He was like, I'm going to recuse myself. I'm going to be your AG with everything but this. He's doing a fine job. And then what happened? He got fucked in the ass.
Pretty much.
Did I stress myself over that?
Probably.
Oh, and then Jim Acosta.
Jim Acosta.
You are the enemy of the people.
Before we get into that, I think it's really, really, really stupid how CNN, MSNBC...
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but good leeway, really quickly. I told you I was looking at law school rankings. Rutgers is tied for 74th, which is actually more clout than I expected. I thought it wouldn't even be the top 100, which obviously 74 is not like a big...
We're ahead of Texas A&M.
Not even that, we're ahead of American.
Wow.
Oh yes. Okay. Now go.
I think it really pisses me off how this whole Jim Acosta thing, full and well like knowing what Trump's inherent impulses are, got more media coverage than Jeff Sessions' firing. Let's face it, every time I turned on the TV, every time I went on my Facebook newsfeed, and when I go on Facebook, it's basically all news outlets, so it's not like I watch other people go to the beach and shit like that. But anyway, all I could see was the whole Jim Acosta thing. Oh, Jim Acosta, and then Trump says this to Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta sexually harasses White House intern when that really didn't happen, but he did touch her arm and tried to shoo her away. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders kind of.
I touched Sean's foot with my big sock again.
Okay, so anyway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweets doctored video, which obviously it wasn't doctored. Compressions made it low res, but it was the same exact.
It was doctored, dude.
It was no, it was not. Okay, look, the compressions resulting in the conversion of that file from the original C-SPAN footage was the same thing.
You can see but it's.
Wait, I'll pull it up.
It's the White House. You're telling me that they can't do it properly? They didn't even show a proper rendition of it. And once again, making stuff blurry so you can't see stuff is still, I feel like, doctoring. Especially when you have all of these other clips that...
Yeah, that's not doctored.
It makes it look so jittery. It's the... Do you see that? The way that it's jittery makes it look like he jerks his hand. When you actually look at it, it's way smoother than that.
That's. I don't think that was intentional. I think it's because of the compressions that make like the frame rate lower.
Look at how they intentionally lowered the frame rate. If you were to just have lower frames per second, like if it went from 60 to like 30 or something, you would still see the action at the same relative speed. It would just look weirder. It would look choppier, right? But and that would be in terms of the visuals, right? Not in terms of the action. They slowed it down, and they also cut frames. So because of both of that, it makes it look like he's hitting her hand multiple times. When really, he's kind of just moving it back and forth in a more calm manner, but the frames that got cut out made it look like he double tapped her arm. And then now let's look at Jim Acosta with the reporter.
Like the actual footage?
The actual footage, yeah. I want to look at... No, here we go. Oh, sorry, guys. Ads, but, I don't know, like... First of all, why is he called the enemy of the people? Regardless of anything else, he's not the enemy.
Okay, I think I have a reason for that. So basically, so we're watching the footage right now.
Okay, here we go. It shows a raw comparison between the two. Okay. Do you see how much? Look at. See that one. Do you see how his hand bumps on her?
Yeah.
When you look at it the same time on this, it makes it look like he's double tapping her. See, and then it looks like that's the force. When here, his hand blurs with someone who's raising their hand, blows with her elbow, so it looks like it's way harder than it actually is. And I just I don't even know what I did. I went to the law school tab or something. I don't know, dude.
You just opened a new tab with that one?
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be like that.
That's fine.
Okay, but yeah, it's way jerkier. And it's that I feel like it has to be intentional, especially when during the same thing you're saying it's enemy of the people.
Okay, so the whole enemy of the people talk, I think it's Trump's way of basically putting a middle finger up to the media. Because he knows. And Jon Stewart also talked about this last week when talking about the dynamic between Trump and the media. Trump realizes that if he can morally criticize the media by calling them the enemy of the people, for example, then it really taps into their ego, as he says. Because they think kind of they're the moral halcyon of what people... They're the ones that are really conveying the injustices of the world for them to kind of rectify. And so, if the media gets confronted as the enemy, or their reporting is not being stellar, or being extremely skewed, which, let's face it, all media outlets are in some way skewed, except for maybe C-SPAN, that's when they really get their knickers in a twist.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when it works to Donald Trump's favor, because he can do whatever the hell he wants. He can fire Sessions, he can freaking... fire Robert Mueller, and the media will still be talking about, oh my god, Jim Acosta, he got his hard pass revoked. That's what pisses me off.
Do you think they did this they made this a story intentionally just to make it look like the Sessions firing was not as big of a deal?
Well, I don't want to put on a tinfoil hat yet, because this is like a lot of events going on in order for that to be true. Yeah. I mean, it's like you have to have the intern planted there, you have to have her in the exact position in that manner, like trying to pull the mic away, which I think she was just doing her job. I don't think she was planted by the Trump administration to like do that intentionally. I do think that it was very effective in trying to cover up what he did to Jeff Sessions. Because now he can just basically say, why is the media just covering this? They are the enemy of the people. They just care about themselves.
Exactly.
But he won't obviously redirect to Jeff Sessions. He's going to redirect to the economy's doing great. We're like growing and all that kind of stuff. Wage growth has never been this high, 3.5%, first time in 10 years, all that kind of stuff. It's easier for him to redirect and just say 2 words, fake news, what he said basically 3 days ago. It's the same schedule, the same routine over and over and over again, and for some reason the media just never learns. They'll just have Al Sharpton on MSNBC saying, this guy's a racist, and all that kind of BS.
I don't know, dude.
Let's not pretend like these guys are not political players. Whether you're talking about Judge Jeanine Pirro and Sean Hannity on the right, or Al Sharpton and Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow on the left.
Oh yeah, everyone is going to spin the story as they want it,
exactly.
Right? But I just feel like the Republicans are spinning it to make it, I feel this should be a non-issue to begin with.
Yeah, it really is.
A reporter doing this thing is part of his job. Like, don't call him enemy of the people. So he used the phrase, everyone's pissed at him.
He just does it just to piss the
he really does.
And because the Overton circle of acceptable thought and acceptable not only rhetoric but actions by the president has been moved so far to the right radically, or not to the right, just out of center, that people accept Trump, just accept the fact that Trump is going to do something like this. They redirect their attention to the media, or the media can't do it because the media recognizes that we are being attacked personally. We have to respond. But at the same time, Trump realizes that everyone's going to expect me to do this shit. So, let the media waste their time. People are just going to be more and more disillusioned, and I'm going to continue implanting my agenda. For better or for worse.
Honestly, I'm kind of tired. I'm physically exhausted. I feel like we covered a lot. Do you have anything else to say?
Actually, fun fact. It has been exactly 2 years since Trump got elected president-elect.
Was it on the 9th?
11/9. Remember all the 9/11
Oh,
11/9
yes!
jokes?
You're right! Oh, my
I just realized it. Yeah, so basically Bilal was making the thumbnail for this video, and it said 11/9/18. I was like, wait, 11/9? What date could that be?
It's weird. 2 Julys consecutively made me aware of international politics. 2015 July 2015, that made me aware of domestic politics. July 2016 made me aware of international politics, because that's when the international coup, or the coup attempt happened in Turkey.
For me, it's shifted 6 months over.
6 months over, yeah. Sean, I'm done. You got any last words on midterms, Jeff Sessions, Jim Acosta?
So, yeah, my closing argument is just basically let's continue waiting for the midterms, but so far what we predicted is going to come to fruition, whether it be Cinema or Nelson in turn, other than Scott and McSally.
There are a couple flips that could happen, but once again, we're still looking at that.
Exactly. Like, overall, the macro trends of politics in terms of the midterms have been relatively what we've expected it to be. The Jeff Sessions firing still hasn't had its full implications yet. We are yet to see what interim AG Whitaker does and who the next person is going to do. What they're going to do. Jim Acosta, we don't know when his hard pass is going to be restored, if ever, and it might just be politicized because of the fact that Trump recognizes that the media is just going to eat the stuff up and the people are just going to, not care about it as much because there's more there's more important issues such as Jeff Sessions firing.
I just feel like the news cycle this past week has been like nothing we've ever seen.
It's been unbelievable, and we didn't even cover the bombs, we didn't cover the shootings or anything like that.
Knowing the Trump midterm, and once again, we are actively facing an opposition which Trump has never seen. Once again, you think about this. The backlash that Trump has seen originally was the Clinton campaign. Now he has to deal with Democrats on an active basis every single day. So I am excited to see that.
Yeah,
I want to see what happens. Sean, you wanna take us off the air?
Yeah. So basically, let's see how Trump interacts with the Democratic majority House and the Republican majority Senate, and I'm excited to kind of see these trends unfold as the days approach. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening in to another episode of Real Talk with Shan and Bilal, and here's until the next upload that we have. Peace!